AJ Styles arrived in WWE with an unparalleled reputation. As one of the most consistent, exciting, and technically gifted performers of his generation, his arrival at the 2016 Royal Rumble was met with an explosion of anticipation. Styles was no rookie. He had already built a legacy in TNA, NJPW, and on the independent scene. WWE, a company often criticized for underutilizing outside talent, seemed to buck the trend by immediately pushing Styles into main event storylines. He wrestled Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 32, headlined multiple pay-per-views against Roman Reigns, and quickly captured the WWE Championship. It felt as if WWE was truly recognizing Styles' brilliance, and for a while it seemed like he would be a top-tier attraction for years. However, as time went on, WWE's mishandling of Styles became more apparent. One of the most glaring issues is the way he has been inserted into feuds that lack depth or long-term planning. Instead of giving him compelling rivalries that showcase his abilities and storytelling skills, WWE often throws him into random encounters that feel like afterthoughts. He will go from being in the world title picture one month to being completely directionless the next, making it hard for fans to invest in his character. The lack of continuity in his feuds creates an impression that WWE has no real vision for what they want to do with him, which is a disservice to a performer of his caliber. Another problem is how often he is used to put over younger talent without any meaningful follow-up. While it is important to build new stars, the way WWE goes about it often makes AJ Styles feel like a stepping stone rather than a serious competitor. He has lost crucial matches to rising stars without getting a proper rematch or storyline to keep him relevant afterward. This pattern makes his character look weak as he is frequently defeated and then pushed aside instead of being allowed to regain momentum. The absence of consistent victories and meaningful storylines diminishes his credibility and reduces the excitement around his matches. The creative team's inconsistency in giving him a strong presence on television has also hurt his appeal. At times, he will be featured prominently, only to disappear from major storylines for weeks. When he does return, it often feels like WWE is simply plugging him into a random role rather than crafting a meaningful narrative for him. This stop-and-start booking damages his ability to maintain momentum, making it difficult for fans to stay invested in his journey. WWE's lack of effort in presenting him as a legitimate top-tier star suggests they are unsure how to use him effectively, despite his obvious talent. Another issue that highlights WWE's failure in booking AJ Styles is the lack of championship opportunities he has received in recent years. For someone who is undeniably one of the best wrestlers on the roster, he has been noticeably absent from the world title picture for far too long. Instead of being treated as a credible challenger for top championships, he has been relegated to mid-card feuds that fail to showcase his abilities on the biggest stage. The absence of title pursuits makes it seem like WWE does not value him as a main event player anymore, despite his continued ability to perform at an elite level. Fans have noticed this decline in his booking, and many have voiced their frustrations over how WWE has failed to capitalize on his skills. Tag team booking has also been an issue. While AJ Styles has had success in the tag team division, it often feels like a way for WWE to keep him occupied rather than to elevate his status. He has been placed in teams that serve little purpose beyond filling time on television. While tag team wrestling can be a great way to enhance a performer's presence, it should not be the primary way a star of his magnitude is used. By keeping him in tag matches instead of high-profile singles feuds, WWE has wasted opportunities to create memorable moments and rivalries that could benefit both him and the company. WWE's reliance on part-time superstars has also played a role in AJ Styles' underwhelming booking. Instead of giving him marquee matchups at major events, the company has often prioritized bringing in legends or celebrities to take the spotlight. While special attractions have their place, it becomes an issue when full-time talents like AJ Styles are sidelined in favor of nostalgia acts. This not only deprives fans of fresh, high-quality matches, but also sends the message that WWE does not see AJ Styles as a major draw, despite his ability to deliver standout performances. The lack of trust in him as a top star is baffling, given his consistent excellence in the ring. Another frustrating aspect is the absence of meaningful character development. AJ Styles is a phenomenal in-ring competitor, but WWE has failed to evolve his character in ways that keep him fresh and engaging. His promos are often generic, and his storylines lack the emotional depth that could make him a more compelling figure. Rather than exploring new dimensions of his persona, WWE seems content with keeping him in a stagnant role. This approach makes it difficult for fans to connect with him on a deeper level and reduces the impact of his rivalries. Wrestlers thrive when their characters evolve, and WWE's failure to give AJ Styles meaningful development is a missed opportunity. One of the biggest missteps was his feud with Shinsuke Nakamura. After Nakamura won the 2018 Royal Rumble, the dream match between the two became reality at WrestleMania 34. Their previous encounter at Wrestle Kingdom 10 had been an instant classic filled with electric in-ring chemistry. WWE failed to replicate that magic. Instead of delivering an all-time great WrestleMania contest, they gave a slower-paced, less inspired match that ended with a sudden low blow angle. What should have been an emotional, high-stakes rivalry devolved into a series of matches where nutshots became the defining trait of their feud. WWE had two of the best wrestlers in the world, yet instead of letting them put on wrestling clinics, they turned the rivalry into a cartoonish, repetitive angle. After that program, Styles' second WWE Championship reign started strong but dragged on without much compelling direction. The reign lasted for over a year, but he lacked true top-tier opponents outside of a brief feud with Samoa Joe. The matches with Joe had great intensity, but the storyline was hampered by odd choices, such as Joe making it personal by involving Styles' family. While personal feuds can add depth, WWE's execution felt forced, and the matches failed to live up to the hype. Instead of capitalizing on Styles' potential as a champion to elevate new stars, WWE placed him in uninspired programs that didn't create long-term intrigue. Then came Styles' transition to the mid-card. While a run with the United States Championship isn't inherently a demotion, WWE used it as a placeholder rather than a tool to establish fresh talent. His matches were strong, but his feuds, such as those with Ricochet, lacked any lasting impact. Instead of being a stepping stone for future stars, his reigns felt like WWE's way of keeping him busy rather than positioning him as an essential part of the main event scene. This continued when he moved to Raw and formed the OC alongside Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. While the faction had promise, WWE never treated them as a serious dominant force. Their runs with the Raw Tag Team Championships were brief, and they never felt like a true threat. Despite their chemistry and history, the OC never reached the level of impact that factions like The Shield or even The Hurt Business did. WWE also wasted Styles' credibility by booking him inconsistently. One example was his WrestleMania 35 match against Randy Orton. On paper, it should have been a battle of two veterans at the top of their game, but the build-up was minimal, and the match, while solid, lacked the importance it should have had. Instead of using Styles to elevate Orton into a meaningful role, or vice versa, it ended up being just another match on the card with no long-term implications. His move to the tag division alongside Omos was another questionable booking choice. While the idea of pairing the veteran Styles with the towering Omos could have made for an entertaining mentor-protege dynamic, WWE instead made them feel like an afterthought. They won the Raw Tag Team Championships at WrestleMania 37, but their reign didn't produce standout moments or major feuds. The team ultimately disbanded and Omos moved on, while Styles was left without any clear direction. The burial continued when Styles was booked in unnecessary feuds that did little for his legacy. His match with Edge at WrestleMania 38 was meant to be a dream encounter, but was overshadowed by the formation of Judgment Day. Instead of being presented as a legendary showdown, Styles' involvement was mainly used to establish Edge's new faction, making Styles feel like an afterthought rather than a competitor at the top of his game. This continued when WWE inexplicably left Styles out of major storylines, while the likes of Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins carried the main event picture. Styles was still one of the best wrestlers in the world, yet WWE continuously failed to place him in fresh and exciting programs. His lack of involvement in any major world title scene has been another example of WWE dropping the ball. While Roman Reigns' historic title reign has dominated the landscape, Styles has barely been a factor in it. He hasn't had a significant world title feud in years, and his brief attempts to regain relevance have been quickly derailed by lackluster booking. When WWE introduced the new World Heavyweight Championship on Raw, it seemed like a perfect opportunity for Styles to re-enter the world title picture. Instead, he was treated as just another challenger with no long-term investment. His matches remained top tier, but WWE's failure to give him compelling storylines or meaningful victories left him feeling stagnant. One of the biggest issues is WWE's tendency to book Styles in stop-and-start storylines. One week, he seems to be gaining momentum. The next, he disappears from television or is involved in meaningless multi-man matches. This inconsistency prevents him from maintaining credibility as a true main eventer. He has also suffered from being overshadowed by WWE's focus on part-time stars. Instead of building Styles as a consistent attraction, WWE has often placed its emphasis on returning legends and celebrities, pushing full-time stars like Styles to the sidelines. Another glaring example of how WWE has wasted Styles is their refusal to use him in cross-promotional dream matches. With the rise of AEW and collaborations between different wrestling companies, WWE had multiple opportunities to use Styles' history with various promotions to create compelling narratives. Instead, they have kept him isolated within WWE's bubble, refusing to acknowledge his past rivalries in a meaningful way. While the Forbidden Door concept has thrived in AEW, WWE has never taken advantage of Styles' history to create unique matchups, even when it could have been a major draw. Unless WWE dramatically shifts its approach, Styles' remaining years in the company may continue to be plagued by underwhelming booking. While his legacy is already secure, WWE has undeniably squandered the full potential of one of the greatest wrestlers of the past 2 decades. Rather than being remembered as a consistently featured megastar, Styles' WWE run is increasingly defined by what could have been.